Today I'll be showing you how to paint a jellyfish. Let's start with our supplies and setup. First off, you will need white, yellow, turquoise, light blue, dark blue, and light purple acrylic paint. Next, you will need 4 paintbrushes, a flat brush, a round brush 12, a round brush 4, and a round brush 3. Note, the numbers are the size of brush. Next, you'll need a palette. You can have a plastic one or a wooden one. Lastly, you'll need a 9 by 12 inch canvas, 2 paper towels, and a cup of water. Now let's begin by getting some paint. To begin, I want you to identify the first brush you will be using, the round 12 paintbrush, and grab our bright purple paint, which we will then be placing 1 pea-sized drop of on our palette. The whereabouts of placement on the palette does not matter. Step 2, the blob. 2. To begin step 2, grab your round paintbrush and gently dip it in the purple paint. You will now move your paint-covered brush onto the canvas and draw a very beautiful blob. If you want to follow the steps of the video exactly, make sure that your blob is at a 45-degree angle from the top right corner of your canvas. Using your paintbrush, make sure that your blob is completely filled in with purple paint. Step 3, cleaning our brushes. When you are finished using a color of paint, stick the head of your brush in the cup of water and swirl around to remove excess paint. Then make sure to remove excess water that your brush collected by swiping it in horizontal or vertical lines across your paper towel. Step 4, adding manubrium. To begin the manubrium of your jellyfish, grab yellow paint and pour another pea-sized drop onto your palette. Next, dip your paintbrush in the yellow paint and begin drawing a blob that is about 1/6 smaller than your purple one. Depending on the size of your canvas, repeat this motion 4 to 6 more times, all the while making sure that you fill in each individual blob with more yellow. If you want to go a step further, angle all your jellyfish to form a mild C. Step 5, the background. Another important part of your picture is the background. Using your dark blue paint, pour about 3 times the size of a pea onto your palette. In an organized manner, put back your round brush and replace it with your flat brush. Next, dip your flat brush in the dark blue paint and begin painting the white of the canvas. Do not color over your purple and yellow blobs with the blue paint. Your goal here is to contour your jellyfish in blue as if in the ocean. When using your blue paint, make sure to apply all the areas with an even coat of paint. The use of this is to make your painting look more realistic and seem more professional. Once this step is done, make sure again to resort to step 3, swirl your flat brush around in the liquid, and then apply it to the paper towel to dry it off. Step 6, shading. To make sure that each piece of the manubrium is easily identifiable, we will be using our light blue and our turquoise paints. To begin, grab your light blue paint and apply again another pea-sized drop of it onto your palette. Repeat this action with your turquoise paint as well. We will now be replacing our flat brush with the use of our round 4 brush, also known as our red brush. Using this brush, you will dip it into the turquoise paint and apply it to the edges of each individual manubrium. Repeat this contouring action for each of your individual yellow shapes. Once you are satisfied with the amount of turquoise contour, clean your red brush in the water and then dry it off as seen in step 3. Next, dip and roll the head of your red paintbrush into the yellow paint and then begin applying another thin layer of yellow paint on the inside contouring your turquoise contour. The last part of the shading step will involve you alternating between using your turquoise and yellow paints. You are not required to clean your brush every individual time for this part of the exercise. Drag your paintbrush back and forth across the line where the yellow and turquoise paints meet. This is the action of shading. Step 7. Mixing a new color. Now exchange your red round 4 brush for your round 3 pink brush. Next, using the head of your pink brush, scoop half of the pea-sized drop of purple paint onto a new empty surface on your palette. Repeat this action with the dark blue paint and drop this scoop on top of the purple paint. Make sure this is on your palette as you begin to swirl the two together and mix it to create a new color. You will then dip your pink brush in this paint and contour the bottom of the hat of the jellyfish, which is purple. Next, without cleaning the head of your paintbrush, dab it in the light purple paint and paint a line just over top of the previously contoured bottom line of the jellyfish hat. Repeat the previous motion of step 6, where you drag your paintbrush across the line where the dark and light purple meet. This is the same action of shading, but in a different color. For this last part of shading, place down your brush and grab your white paint. Open the lid and place a pea-sized drop on somewhere new on your palette. Next, make sure not to clean your paintbrush before dabbing its head in the white paint, and then applying it to the top of the hat of your purple jellyfish head. Now go and dab your paintbrush in the light purple paint again and color over the white on the top of your jellyfish hat. This part of the process is 2 steps in one, as it both mixes the white and the purple together to make a lighter color and is shading the top of the jellyfish. Next, to make your jellyfish abstract, grab your flat paintbrush again and dip it in the light blue paint. Now, paint small blue squares on the different manubriums of your jellyfish. You want these squares to not cover your entire jellyfish, but to follow the line of the contoured turquoise we previously put on our jellyfish. Make sure to apply this process to the bottom of the jellyfish hat. When you are satisfied with the amount of squares you have on your jellyfish, clean your flat brush as seen in step 3. For the beginning of dotting, grab your red paintbrush, scoop up half of your white paint and place it somewhere new on your palette. Repeat the same scooping notion with half of the turquoise paint and placing it on top of your new patch of white. Then swirl together. Now use the head of your paintbrush to gently dot on top of the previously done blue squares on your jellyfish. Make sure these ones climb higher than your squares and touch a bit of the yellow as well of your manubrium. However, do not exceed covering more than the bottom half of your manubrium with this dotting technique. The goal of this dotting is to shade your manubrium in an abstract way. After cleaning your brush, repeat the previous action of dotting with the white and cover the top half of your manubrium pieces. Using the action of dotting again, dab your red paintbrush into the white paint and begin dotting the top of the hat of the jellyfish. You can choose how dotted you want your jellyfish to be. To add to that, create 5 vertical lines only of dots on your jellyfish. You want each individual dotted line to move in a slightly different direction. For example, make sure that the dotted lines on the outside are more curved than the ones on the inside. Make the lines as flowy and organic as possible. After making sure that your brush is clean, dip the head of it in your white paint again, and paint a smooth, curvy line from the bottom of the jellyfish hat to the end of the manubrium. You can apply the lengths of these tentacles to be as different as you want. Make sure that at least one tentacle crosses another and that they curve in different directions. In total, paint 4 separate tentacles. After repeating step 3, dab the head of your paintbrush in the purple paint. Then follow your painted lines from step 10 and recolor all 4 jellyfish tentacles in purple. After repeating step 3, dip the head of your paintbrush into the light blue paint and paint the bottom of the tentacles in blue. After repeating step 3 yet again, add some personal and unique details to your jellyfish. This part is up to you to choose how you do it. Personally, I added different colored dots around the edges of my jellyfish. If you choose to follow the next steps, dip the head of your pink paintbrush into any of the pre-existing colors we made today. I decided to use purple, but you are not required to. Now use the previously taught dotting technique and put as many dots as you want on different parts of your canvas. Personally, I suggest to use different colors and put dots on top of each other to make a more beautiful pattern. Other suggestions I have are to add bubbles or to shade the colors of blue to make it look more like the ocean in the background. When you're satisfied with your jellyfish at the end, make sure to clean up all the products you have used today. Throw out your paper towel, rinse your cup, clean your brushes, and organize your paints. Lastly, do not forget to sign your name on your beautiful artwork. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my video on how to paint a jellyfish.